America, buckle up, because tonight's episode is jam-packed. I've got a U.S. Congresswoman telling a foreign community that America does what they say. Can you guess which country that is? We've got dead voters, non-citizen voters, foreign countries dumping rice onto our markets to ruin our prices. Gas prices are plummeting, and RFK Jr. is knocking out 20 pull-ups with the greatest of ease. Stick around. You just might learn something. Well, guys, we've got Ilhan Omar speaking to a Somalian audience, and she's basically telling them the United States will do what the Somalian people tell them to do. Check it out. I mean, look at this. If the U.S. elected, a U.S. elected official is saying this into our country. This is the cheers and the screaming for her. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. This is a takeover, guys. This is a takeover. She's saying the U.S. government will do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. We call the shots in the U.S. For as long as I am in the U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. This woman has allegiance to a foreign country. A shithole country at that. I mean, let's be realistic. Somalians' average IQ is between 60 and 70 in Somalia. You know what below 70 is in the United States? You're kind of mentally impaired, just so you know. These people, the average IQ is between about 60 and 70 in Somalia. And they're going to tell the United States what to do. This woman is acting like a foreign agent, if you ask me. She's a foreign agent. She has no business being in Congress whatsoever. But they elected her because what they do, they manipulate those markets, they put the people in there, and they get these small towns and cities, and then they get a representative, and then they stick them in Congress. Nobody should be in Congress that has allegiance to anywhere else in the United States. Nowhere else. And this goes to show you that the whole dual citizenship things needs to be over and done with. We shouldn't have anybody that's in Congress that represents the United States and supposed to protect the Constitution that has allegiance to anywhere else. But this is why we're having problems with Somalia. The layers of that onion, as I say it all the time, they're starting to get peeled back little by little. And we're starting to find out the corruption in the state of Minnesota and everywhere else that we're starting to find out because the jig is up. You got Governor Walz in Minnesota. You got St. Paul, Minneapolis. They are corrupt as hell. Billions and billions of dollars we are giving them, and they are funneling it to their warlords. Now, why do you think that happens? Why do you think they're funneling money to the warlords? I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a whole money laundering scheme they got going on there. And if you watch Governor Walz now, the guy he's on his tiptoes. I think he's scared to death what's going to happen to him. I think he's absolutely scared to death what's going to happen to him. I mean, this is what I mean by it's a takeover. They're raising a Somalian flag into a school district. I mean, look at this. This is Winooski, Vermont, a school district raising the Somalian flag. Now, you can tell me all you want. Well, the flag is lower than the American flag. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't have a flag anywhere at any school building in the United States that is flying a foreign country flag on it. Except for it's an embassy. That's the only place you should be able to have that. Okay? Celebrating your culture is fine. It's absolutely fine. Okay? But a foreign national flag being raised over a U.S. school district is raising alarms and excessive concerns. Like, where's the line that we're going to draw between cultural pride and national identity? And why does this keep happening without any discussion? They're just doing it. And you know what? The Somalians, they're putting it in our face. They don't care. They know they're pissing us off. They absolutely know they're pissing us off, but yet they're doing it anyway. They don't give a rat's ass how the American people feel. You heard what Ilhan Omar said. The Somalian people are going to tell the United States what to do. A dump of a country. It's a cesspool. I had guys that served over there with the 10th Mountain during the Black Hawk Down, Mogadishu, all that stuff from Black Hawk Down. I knew a couple of guys that were with the 10th Mountain. They told me that place was just a dump. And I seriously doubt in the last, 35 plus years, it looks any different than it did back then. And that's too bad. All these people come to this country and they infiltrate our society. They don't come to be a melting pot. They infiltrate. They push their agendas on us. I talked about this last week. And we need to wake up and realize that's not okay. That's not okay. Where's the outrage on that? Where's the outrage of that school district that's in Winooski, Vermont school district? Why aren't they speaking out against that? It just blows my mind. It is for votes, people. Plain and simple. It's for votes. That's the only thing that we're finding out now. There's no way these people are allowing that to happen unless they need votes. The Democrat Party, I've done segments on this, and a lot of people have talked about it. They lost 4.5 million voters since 2020 to 2024. The Democrat Party is in desperate need to replace those voters. And how they're going to do it? They're doing it with illegals. They're doing it with people that have low IQs. They're doing it to get people into this country, and you give them a bunch of free stuff, they're going to be loyal to you. That's what the Democrats did with the black community. That's what they promise them, all this stuff all the time. And for the past 60-something years, the majority of black voters vote Democrat. And if you look at every inner city in America, it's a dump. It's a shithole. And they continue to vote for him because they keep promising them new things. So now the black voters are starting to wake up, and they're realizing they've been hoodwinked this whole time by the Democrat Party. They know it. If they had a little common sense, and a lot of them are waking up and realizing it, they know that they've been hoodwinked all these years just to garnish their votes. That's it. And now that the Democrats are realizing that, the whole voter things that we're doing is a little messed up. We got to get a slew of voters in here. And how do we do that? Offer them a bunch of free stuff, giving them free homes, giving them free health care, put them on welfare so they don't really have to work. 80% of them or more are on the government assistance in the state of Minnesota. Look what the secretary has found out about voter fraud that's going on right now. It's amazing.
I'm Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and I'm here
for civil rights. So those are good people.
About one of my many important duties here at the DOJ,
voter fraud,
enforcing our federal election laws.
Yes.
Here's some facts and figures for you. In the last 8 months, the DOJ has reached out to all 50 states, asking them to share their voter rolls with us.
There are some states that aren't going to share anything.
Watch. The America Vote Act, which requires states to maintain clean voter rolls. 4 states complied voluntarily. We sued North Carolina early on, and they are checking the voter records of 100,000 voters who were improperly enrolled on their voter rolls, and they're going to fix their problem voluntarily. We have an agreement in place almost with another dozen states, and I expect very soon we'll be looking at their voter data.
I wonder if we're going to have any lawsuits. We're going to have any lawsuits?
And helping them clean up those voter rolls. Now we have 15 lawsuits pending against 14 states. That's right. California got sued twice.
We are
in litigation with them. They're refusing to provide their records, even though many of these states voluntarily provide their voter rolls.
Why are they?
Nonprofit groups like ERIC and even other groups. And so we are going to make sure that we get to the bottom of those, and then we're going to get to the rest of the states. So we're engaged with nearly 30 states here.
So did you hear that? 47.5 million voters were reviewed. 260,000 dead people were still on the voter rolls. And these are just the states that kind of complied. But there's 12 states that haven't complied? They're in litigation with them? Why aren't they doing it? There's only one reason. Wake up, America. There's only one reason why California has to be sued twice to get their voter rolls. Because they're fixing it. They're stitching that shit together. They're in the back room trying to put it all together, trying to figure out, man, we gotta come up with these voters. We had like 2 million that are dead, and we gotta figure out where they came from. That's why they're doing it. And all those people that talk about, oh, well, there's no voter fraud. Yes, it's rampant. Voter fraud is rampant in the United States. This country isn't batting 1,000 when voting. Okay, if you think mail-in ballots is 100% accurate, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. We know it's not. It's the best way to cheat. You mail out a bunch of ballots. Most people don't even get them, or you mail out more ballots than you absolutely need to. And then all of a sudden you pad the decks. And in the middle of the night, at 2 a.m, 4 states just shut down their counting. Come on, we know. People that with common sense can read through the lines and see it. They had several thousand non-citizens enrolled to vote. This is what they do. This is why they're bringing people in, okay? They're giving people free stuff. I'm sorry, we have 15 lawsuits. Nearly 30 states are involved. This is coming from inside the Department of Justice. This isn't like some outside voting group. This is the United States government that are telling you these things are occurring. So how do most advanced, why is it that the most advanced democracy, the United States, the most advanced democracy, is having these problems? We're having this many ghosts and not citizens on our voting rolls? Why is that happening to the United States? The people that are in power, listen, I still have a hard time believing anybody is voting for Gavin Newsom. I mean, Halle Berry just came out against the guy. I have a hard time believing Nancy Pelosi has been voted in office all these years. I just have a hard time believing that. I believe that they had a manipulated formula that they've been using in California for years, decades even, and they turned around and they might have used it for other elections, maybe some foreign elections, and they honed their skills and they figured it out. But this stuff needs to stop. Our country has been in this type of problem for over 150 years. And everybody talks about the billionaires. Yes, it's the guys that have all the money that call the shots. And that's who started this foundation. Those billionaires from Jekyll Island started this whole damn thing of us. They manipulated it. They got us into wars. They got the Federal Reserve so they can cash the checks when the banks start going under. They don't feel the pain. They got the Federal Reserve bails them out by what? Using our tax dollars. And that's what they do. And now everybody's talking about the food industry. Now Trump is bailing out the farmers because he put the tariffs on them. He put the tariffs on them and he's having to bail them out. But the other day at a little cabinet meeting that he had, he brought a lady on there that owns a rice company. And she talks about everything that we already probably know. That the rice market and the food industry is getting manipulated by these outside forces. Take a listen to this.
Tell us about rice.
Rice.
We're going to talk about rice.
It's been monumental for our industry, but us in the South are really struggling. I mean, this is not just a crisis. I would say it's almost a market dynamics that really are true anti-competitive nature, right? So it follows what you sent out this weekend. And we do believe that countries are dumping rice into this country today.
Dumping rice.
We've never seen.
They're pouring more rice into the country than we do to
India,
manipulate the market.
Thailand, even China into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico used to be one of the largest markets for U.S. rice. We haven't shipped rice into Puerto Rico in years. So this has been happening for years. This didn't start during your administration, but unfortunately, we're seeing it in a much bigger way now. The tariffs are working, but we need to double down because
you want more.
Well, they're cheating, right?
See, the tariffs are working. Everybody complain about the tariffs. The reason why we have tariffs are those people that don't understand. Oh, I had a guy argue with a guy last night and he thought he won my argument, his argument. But the facts of the matter are the tariffs are working to help us in the United States, the rice farmers. You've got Thailand, India, China, they're dumping rice. In other words, they're undercutting everybody. Undercutting. And the tariffs are working because it makes anybody importing rice at such a nominal fee, small price, it makes them think twice if you're doubling the tariffs on the imports of rice. and it will help the American farmers. I don't see how nobody's getting that. That tariffs are there to help the United States, whether it's agricultural, whether it's manufacturing. The tariffs are being put in place to help the American workers and the American companies produce more from our country. And guess what? If you purchase it from the United States, guess what you don't have? That's right, you don't have a tariff. So if we could, a lot of these companies were sending jobs overseas. Why? So they can pay $1.25 an hour to some kid who's 14 years old stitching a pair of sneakers together. Toddlers, paying them 50 cents, 20 cents an hour. Puerto Rico, which once was our largest importer of rice, is now taking Chinese rice. Gee, you don't think that's going to hurt our farmers? Prices are at the lowest in 40 plus years. So rice, which is in almost every household in America, it's a staple at every restaurant you go to, it's at the lowest price in 40 years because these countries are undercutting our producers here in the United States. I don't think that's fair. So if you want to argue tariffs, you can argue with tariffs on some other goods, but look what they're doing. Now, China agreed to start purchasing our soybeans from the farmers back to normal and even higher levels by the end of December. Well, it's not the end of December yet, so it still hasn't happened full force. They started to purchase, but they haven't gone full force like they said they were going to do. They're still in negotiations. This back and forth negotiating with China is becoming a serious problem. It's becoming a serious problem. This is a national security issue as well. You guys don't get it. The American farmers are getting crushed by these prices. They can't compete. And they're doing it on purpose. This isn't something they just want to undercut the American farmer for just because they want to do it. No, they're doing it to squeeze them out of the market completely. The farmers in the United States can feed the country. But if you don't have fair trade and free trade, you're gonna hurt the ones that are in this country. And you have to do that. That's what tariffs do. Tariff makes the balance, it makes the whole market more balanced when you are causing the price for the imports to go up. So people here you know what? We're just going to purchase from the American rice guys. That makes a lot more sense to me than having to go out of the country. And that's what we're trying to do. We've been stepped on for freaking decades. Our trade imbalance was astronomical with these countries. It was like a 2% tariff. Now I think the average is around 17% or something like that. The average tariff now, it was only 2%. We brought in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff revenue. I know, and you're going to argue. The people on the left will constantly argue with me about, well, we pay its tax on us. Well, look, man, not every product is going up. Walmart made what, $17 billion last year? How about you talk to Walmart? How about you talk to these other places that are raising their prices that made billions and billions and billions of dollars in net profit? This is after all the expenses. They made net profit. And they're still going to raise their prices. Because it's a greedy corporate, right? I'm not one of those socialists like Bernie Sanders, but you got to put some blame somewhere else besides just Donald Trump. Because we're trying to get manufacturing and things like that going again in the United States, and it just doesn't happen with a flip of a switch. It doesn't. But gasoline prices are going down. That's right. You can see the TikTok trend everywhere. People that are getting sticker shock in a good way. They're getting sticker shock by seeing gas prices plummet. We got places like in Texas, Aurora, Colorado, gas well under $2 a gallon. Take a look. This is amazing. Look at this. Look at it. 17 gallons of gas for $30. Oh, I can't wait for that to happen in Florida. Right now, my gas price is around $2.71, $2.80, depends where you're driving at. But I'm waiting for gas prices to get lower. And they've gotten so low that even CNN has to back up that the gas prices are going down.
Is the price of gasoline. Look at this, a fresh 4.5-year low, 3.5-year low of $2.95 a gallon as of today. That is miles away from the all-time high set back in is the price of gasoline. Look at this, a fresh 4.5-year low. Is the price of gasoline. Look at this, a fresh 4.5-year low, 3.5-year low of $2.95 a gallon as of today. That is miles away.
There we go. 4.5-year low, 4.5-year on gas prices. All-time high, 502. So now we got, what do I do here? Now, there we go, that's better. I mean, you can see, the CNN is reporting gas prices at $2.95 a gallon, the lowest since the pandemic and way lower than the $5 in 2022. Now, I did a show last night. Everybody was showing all their gas prices. They've got gas prices well over $4 in California. And if anybody's still complaining about gas prices and like, well, it's $3.50 here, $4 here, in Aurora, Colorado, it was like, what, $1.69 at a Costco that I put up there yesterday? Look, I get it. You got a Costco, you get a membership, you get a little bit lower price. But let's be realistic about the gas prices. The gas prices at Costco is maybe what, 15 to 20 cents cheaper than the Wawa or the racetrack or the Cumberland Farms around the corner. So it's not astronomical. So at $1.69, let's say you add 20 cents to that. Let's say you add 25 cents to that. That's still $1.94. That's still well under the $2. Because even CNN, you just saw, they can't even spin it. The prices are actually going down. Now, I get it. Wintertime, less gas gets consumed during the wintertime. But this is a trend. It's starting to really rock down. And I live in Florida. There ain't no snow over here. I'm wearing shorts right now under the table. And this is what I'm talking about. It's going to take a little while for the economy to kind of move along with some of the implementation of all these policies. And I know you're going to argue, well, Trump doesn't really set the policies on gas. Yes, but you know what they do? He negotiates peace in the Middle East. Because I don't know if you know, anytime someone says boo in the Middle East, gas prices go up to freaking $5 a gallon. And guess what? In the Middle East, it's quiet right now. Only war we got going on was Zelensky because that guy doesn't want to give up the money he's getting put in his pocket. But all these other countries, it's quiet. And when you got Saudi Arabia, the main oil contributor, pushing out more oil, you've got deregulation in some of the areas in the United States where he's allowing these companies to go drill for oil off the coastlines in the ocean. That's what the president can do. He can lower the regulations on some of the things that bottlenecks and squeezes the oil companies. So his policies can't do much, but the deregulating he can, and that's what's happening right now. So if you guys start paying more attention to the prices, yes, Donald Trump can't wave a magic wand and lower the prices, but the policies sure can. And having peace in the Middle East is a huge, huge factor. So this is obviously something really I want to talk about. Pretty cool. It was a viral video that went on the other day. RFK Jr., 71-year-old man, knocking out 20 pull-ups. Take a look at this. Guy's knocking out 20. Let's count them off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now listen, a lot of people are like, well, he didn't go all the way. That's close enough. Listen, he's not going to be getting into Ranger School. You got to go all the way down, all the way up, to get into Ranger School, do your 6 to get in there. But listen, the guy's 71 years of age. 71 years of age. And he's just repping them out. Is he going to get the last one? You got it. Come on. You got it. That guy's 71 years old. What's your excuse? He's in a shirt and tie and slacks, and he's knocking 20 reps on a pull-up bar. There's nobody from the Biden administration, Bush administration, both Bush administrations, Obama administration, nobody that was that age that can knock out 20 reps of pull-ups? Nobody. He's making America healthy again. And listen, yeah, he's probably on a little TRT. You know, he's got a younger wife, Cheryl Hines. She's a little young. He's got to keep himself viral. But viral, whatever you want to call it. But he's knocking out 20 reps of pull-ups, man. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't do that. And I lift 5 days a week. I can't do 20 reps like that. I just can't. I might be able to get 8 or 9, 10, maybe. But I certainly can't do 20. So that was good for any age. There's a lot of 16, 17-year-olds that can't rep out 20 reps. That was impressive. He's making America healthy again, guys. And he's leading by example. And I absolutely love it. Well, that's it for today's show, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm doing live on YouTube today. But don't forget, click the button, subscribe, give me a follow, and join me next time for a little chit-chat, some observations, and some good old-fashioned conversation. Thanks.